Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday morning, which means I get the privilege of starting my week off by talking to one of our Leap for Ladies community members in our Member Monday Spotlight. And today I'm so excited for everybody to get to learn a little bit more about Leap community member Whitney Kobrin. She is a somatic love coach and so much more. And so I'm excited for everybody to learn about what she does. The world needs more love, and Whitney can help us get there. So, Whitney, welcome to the show. Thanks for being a Leap community member.
Hi, Mary. So good to be back.
Thank you. Thank you. And tell everybody that's listening or watching the recording later a little bit about what you get to do in your work every day.
Oh, I get to facilitate love. I get to make
Hooray!
love easier for people because it is an area of life that a lot of us struggle. We don't even know the underlying causes of why we're suffering. We don't understand the link between past traumas or the relationships that we witnessed growing up. There's so many factors that play into our love life, just even our ability to stay composed and think clearly and not lose our crap when we get frustrated, upset, angry, triggered. And it's never going to be perfect, right? But it could be so much better. And I've lived both sides of that spectrum. I've lived in the toxic relationships, walking on eggshells, or just being single and feeling like nobody gets me and there's no one out there that for me. And then now I've been on the other side of having an amazing relationship that's healthy, where we can address things, we can talk about things, we can work things through things together. And I feel like this relationship actually gives more than it takes, right?
Nice, nice. Yes, I love that. So tell everybody listening a little bit about how you got into this work, because I think your story is so amazing and really powerful.
Yeah, well, it happened. Let's see. I had planned on being a counselor, counseling therapist, psychologist. And then when I was 23, I changed my mind, did not go into grad school, went into business, worked in corporate HR, talent acquisition for 13 years, struggled in relationships until I found a coach that taught me a lot of the things that I now teach. And she helped me to meet and marry my husband. Unfortunately, my husband passed away very young, early, in 2017, which created another huge shift in my life. And I left my corporate recruiting position to be a matchmaker. And I still work with a matchmaking company called 3 Day Rule as a coach. And I love matchmaking, but it also got me really curious about what was going on beneath the surface and why people were struggling with relationships. There were clients that I could set them up with what they were looking for, but they would still have a hard time navigating that journey from dating to relationship to commitment to forever. And so that's where I focus now, is really helping people do the internal work or just create more awareness around relationships and teach them, because there is so much information out there. We are in the information age. And yes, you can get information from books, online, Google, chat GPT. They're learning a lot about us.
Yeah.
But I think what I offer and will continue to offer, even when we have all of this information out there, is the experience.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned that I'm a somatic love coach. And so the
Yeah.
soma part comes from the Greek word for body. And what I've learned throughout my journey and through the learning that I've done to be the best coach I could be is that we store our unprocessed emotions, our traumas, our experiences, just our tension, our dysregulated nervous system. It stays in our body. And so
Mhm.
you could go to talk therapy and talk for 3 years and not have the same experience as when you incorporate the body into the experience, into the release, into the healing process.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And we really do need to, it sounds so trite to say it, or, you need to love yourself before you can love another person, right? And so healing ourselves and healing ourselves at that deepest level is really important if we're going to find that true love that people are seeking, that real relationship, right? Not the fairy tale kind or the movie kind, but the real everyday relationship that you are looking for. We have to do that inner work first. And that's what you get to help your clients do, which I love.
Yeah. And sometimes we do it first, and sometimes we do it while we're on the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Sometimes we don't even know, many people look back at their life and say, oh, I had a pretty good life. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot
Mhm.
of trauma, but the more you dig in and the more you look at the details, there's usually something. And often it
Yeah.
doesn't get triggered until you're in a close partnership, because all of a sudden you have this mirror 24/7 that
Yeah.
is pointing out all the little things you're doing that are bugging them. And so sometimes it's when we're in relationship too that we realize, wait, maybe there is more to this story. Maybe there is
Yeah.
something that I could do, because
Right.
we just live with it a lot. We just live
Yeah.
with it, and we suffer quietly. We, you know, numb out as much as we can. And so
Yes.
I talk a lot about the difference between coping and healing.
Nice. I love that. I love that. So what is your definition between coping and healing, if you can share that with us, if it's something
Yeah.
you
Well,
can
I
share
think
easily?
we all develop coping mechanisms, right? Some people overwork and pay
Hmm.
a lot of attention to their work and success and their whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. Other people become super emotional, and their emotions carry them and take them down, and it's a way of coping. Some people become like they need help all the time and they're always asking everyone for help. Other people go hyper independent. So
Hmm.
what looks like a healthy way of handling things from the outside, it can often backfire. Right, and we can
True.
admire somebody that's the opposite of us and say, "Oh, I wish I had their work ethic," or, "Oh, I wish I could relax like they can." And we
Yeah.
don't realize that we're supposed to be able to do all of those things.
Yes. Yeah. And just like it's two sides of a coin, right? Or two sides of your hand. There's a positive side and an not so positive side, the shadow side, right? That it can go either way. So yes, it's great to be driven and have goals, but same time, we want you to have a life and not be completely consumed by your goals and being driven, right? So same
Yeah,
thing happens in relationships and all of the areas of our life. So it's finding that balance of of both sides of the
and
coin.
and
Yeah.
we've gotta be able to relax to be in a
Yeah.
relationship. When we're
Yeah.
super anxious all the time, it's not fun for ourselves, and I've gone through anxiety and depression and come out the other end, but it's we're always going to be human. We're not machines. And when it
Yeah.
comes to modern dating, with the dating apps and ghosters and just people looking for hookups, and there's so much craziness out there that
Yeah.
it's extra complicated nowadays.
Yeah.
And for somebody who's just, I just want to find love, I just want a partner, like, why is this so hard? Um, that's the kind of people that I really love to work with. And maybe they know about trauma and have a lot, maybe they don't. But either way, we're going to get to the root cause. And that's one of
Good.
the most important things, because you could spend months or years following everyone and listening to all the videos and watching things, but if it doesn't apply to you, if it's not your story, it could be completely wrong advice. And often we look for confirmation bias, right? Like if I say there's no good men and I don't want to date and I'm not going to date at all, I will start to see on all my social media feeds and
Yeah.
online, like
Mhm.
all of this confirmation that tells me, yeah, you're right, there's no good men, it's not worth dating.
Right.
So I think it's so important to have a person that you can go to that knows about relationships, that will be understanding, non-judgmental. I'm not going to tell you break up with him now. We're going to
Right.
evaluate, let you come to your own decisions, but I know from my own experience, and also so many of my clients, they go to their sister, they go to their mom, they go to
Right.
their friends, and the friends don't know any better than they do. They're just
Right.
like, well, you
Exactly.
should do this or you should do that. And they don't really even know the whole story. So it can be very frustrating when you don't know where to turn to get help for your love life
Right.
relationships.
Yeah. And I often kind of compare it to putting a Band-Aid on something or duct taping your relationship together, right? You're taking a piece of information here and a piece of information and slapping it on your relationships, right? But none of it makes a whole. And those pieces that you're pulling in from all of the various sources that you might be getting your information from, like you said, may not be exactly what you need in your relationship to deal with your own internal traumas. And then how do you heal your relationships as well. So I think what you do is so important, Whitney. So how are you, what are you up to in your business? Like, how do people get to work with you?
You can schedule a complimentary strategy call. So that's where I would recommend anybody start. Just schedule
Great.
a call. It's complimentary, it's free. We will talk for 45 minutes to sometimes an hour, just to get an idea of what's going on, just to do that root cause analysis and come up with a strategy that would help you to get to where you want to be. And then you have the choice. You can take that strategy and run with it and do it yourself. Or if you feel like you would need a little support or help, then we can talk about what working together would look like. And I do different packages. I mean, I'm really here to help people more than anything. I
Yeah.
want to find something that will work, whether that's a group program or a 1 month intensive or working together for 6 months while you rebuild your love life. I've worked with a lot of women coming out of divorce,
Mm-hmm.
and they know that there's a lot of healing and resetting that needs to happen. And so that's a great time. But, we often make big changes in our lives when we're forced to, like I did.
Yes.
My
Mm-hmm.
husband passed away just suddenly from one day to the next, never planned for it, never expected it. And I made massive changes after that, and that's how most people operate. But I always commend people that are just brave enough to make a big huge change, even if it's not forced on them.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I was just in community with some women this weekend, and several of them have been just gone through divorces after long-term relationships, 19, 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
So that takes courage, right? Because you get in these relationships and maybe you're really comfortable, but they know there was something else for them. So um, if you're in that spot or you're just going through that or whatever, and you might not feel like there's chance for love again, right? Two of these women have now remarried and are in amazing relationships, right? So it's just a matter of going through that trauma and then healing it, and it doesn't have to be a divorce, right? Like you said, we gather these stories in our heads and some of these emotional things that are stored in our bodies from the time we're really, really young, so we may not even realize what it was, right? That's triggering us when we get into a relationship. So I love that you bring that whole somatic piece, because we are whole human beings, especially with our hearts, right? When we, when we want to give our heart away to somebody, you bring your whole self to them. And so it really is important to understand and heal yourself first before you get into that relationship. Or if you're in it, how can you help build that relationship by doing that work while you're in the relationship too?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you just got back from a retreat this weekend
Mm-hmm.
that you hosted, right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
it's so awesome being in person with people.
It
And
is.
I've been on both sides of hosting and attending the retreat, and there's just nothing quite like it.
Yeah. Yes. And yes, talking to a human being is so much different. Yes, chat gives us great information. All the AI tools we have now, there's so much information available to us. But there's something about talking to a real human being that knows what you're going through and has that human emotion that can really understand what you're going through, and with empathy. And, I mean, the AIs are getting really good and they're really supportive, but you really do need to speak to an expert, especially when you're looking for this long-term relationship in your life, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure it is going to be giving, like you mentioned at the beginning. The relationship can give to you. It doesn't have to take. I feel like sometimes we get into that kind of those one-sided relationships, or it's
Yeah.
you have to be working on this and working on this, right? It doesn't have to be like that.
I like to call it, so even from an early phase, it's either a relationship of inspiration or a relationship of, oh, I just had the word. Deprivation.
Oh, deprivation. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so hard because people used to tell me, well, love takes work and you have to work on it. And I
Right.
didn't know. And even I sometimes say we have to do the work,
Yeah.
but there's a big difference between like the work of like
Yeah.
people pleasing and walking on eggshells and yelling and having these like big fights and silent treatments. Like that is not the
Yeah.
work. That is
Yeah.
the symptom of things not being right. The
Yeah.
real work is often quiet. It's often very personal. And it's also, going back to talking about the retreats, it's the embodied experience of it.
Yeah.
And AI can think now. It can even have emotion, right? It could get
Yeah.
scared of things. I was listening to lots of AI podcasts recently and just looking at the direction our world is going in. We need love.
Mhm.
We
We do.
need human interaction. We need tribe. We need belonging. We need to touch each other.
Mhm.
We
Yes.
need that. We're built for it. Hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, and we're still the same creatures that we were, 100,000 years ago. That it's very unnatural for us to just be on computers all the time.
Yeah.
So I also do in-person singles events. I do in-person workshops. I am starting to do some in-person therapy in New York City, which is where I
Okay.
live. And I host retreats also. So I'm putting together the next retreat. I just think it's so important to have this one-on-one connection and know that love is many things, right?
Yes.
Like the Eskimos
Mhm.
had many different words for snow, and we have many different words for love. Like
Yeah.
the love between our families, the love we have for our sisterhood, our community, the love we have for ourselves, for our pets, and there's romantic love.
Yeah.
So most people come to me just looking for help finding a partner, but I want to remind everyone that we all need love in our lives, no
Yeah.
matter what your situation and where you are, even if it's just friendship, even if it's self-love. But love is everything. It's
Yeah.
God is love, and we take it for granted in this modern world, but then we wonder why we're up at night. Or I think
Right.
when and especially if the main relationship in your life is toxic, it just eats away at so many parts
Everything.
of your
Yeah.
life, and your sleep and your work and your focus and concentration and friendships. And so
Yes. This is why the world needs more Whitney, right? Everybody needs more
I
Whitney. So if you're listening or you're watching this later, please, please, please take advantage of this. I put her Linktree link here on the screen. It's also in the comments, so you can find all of Whitney's information. But I want you to make sure you're reaching out to her. She's so lovely and gentle, and don't be afraid of having the conversation. Just, book a call with her. You can do that on her Linktree. She's also got amazing resources. She's got a podcast you can listen to. She's got an app you can download. She's got amazing resources out there to help you. But like we said, that human to human conversation is a great place to get started. And then she can tell you, what resources might be available to you as well. So please start with the conversation. Okay, we're going to wrap up with a few get to know you questions, right? So that people just get to know you. Let's see. Do you have a lucky charm?
no, not a physical object. No, but just, I do feel like I've been lucky in a lot of ways in this life. And I also kind of feel like we make our own luck.
Yes, yes, me too. Me too. Let's see. If you could magically add a room to your house or apartment, how would you use it?
Oh gosh, we have we already have a lot of
A lot of
rooms,
spaces.
but I guess if I'm dreaming big, I would have like a big studio space where we could do feminine flow and dance and somatic work
Oh, fun.
and just a big spacious place to host people.
Nice, nice. I love that. And then super quick one. Are you a morning person or an evening person?
I'm in the middle.
In the middle. Okay.
I'm like 10 to 2.
Yeah.
I'm game.
Time. Okay. Good.
Not
Good.
too early, not too late.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So again, if you're watching this, please, please, please connect with Whitney. If you are looking for love, you want to just improve your self-love, you just want more love in your life, Whitney is your gal. Make sure you reach out to her and hop on a call with her. And if you're interested in becoming a LEAP member, we'll put that information in the comments as well. We'd love to have you as a member Monday Spotlight. But thank you so much. And you can also see Whitney. She hosts our Thrive Thursday masterclasses for the LEAP community. So you can get a little bit more of Whitney as she hosts those on Thursday afternoons with our community. So thank you for doing that, Whitney. I appreciate that all the time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much for this time and for getting the word out there. And I look forward to hearing from our listeners.
Yes, wonderful. Have a great day, everyone.